And gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 37 of Geeks Who Like Sports. As always, I am Ray Carcillo, and I'm actually again here in Philadelphia with my best friend in the whole world. It's
Oh, Ray, you're so lucky. It's so lucky to be here with me today. No, I'm happy to have you here in Philadelphia. Happy holidays to all of you listening.
Yes.
We are going to start this episode just by telling you right away, this is a Star Wars spoiler cast. Yes. We will give a very quick spoiler-free review right now. We enjoyed it. You should go see it. Yeah. That's the end of the spoiler-free review.
Yeah.
Okay. We are going to talk about it. So, again, if you're just watching us right now, you're listening to us. If you have not seen The Rise of Skywalker yet or The Mandalorian Episode 7,
yes,
you should not listen to this episode.
Yes, we are recording this. Typically we wait a week and a half or so before we do our spoiler cast.
Not today.
Because it is the rare opportunity that Lee and I are in the same room together. Sure. This is out of 37 episodes. This is only the third time we've been able to do it together. We realized that we could not pass up the opportunity to talk about Star Wars episode 9, Rise of Skywalker together. So that's why our spoiler cast is coming in hot and heavy. Only 3 days after the release, we both saw it. I saw it a little early.
Just had to throw that in for no reason.
Yeah, just had to throw it in there.
You saw it on Tuesday. I saw it on Friday.
That's right. We've got our Geeks Who Like Sports shirts on.
Oh my goodness, we do.
Yes, we do. We will also touch upon football, as well as a few other things going on in the sports world. But mostly this will be a Star Wars heavy episode. So you have been officially warned.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, we're 2 minutes live here. And also we're live on Facebook. Yeah. I wonder if we can see comments.
We will be able to see comments. I'll keep a look on my phone. It's a little late here on the East Coast.
Yes, so it's a little late on the East Coast.
We're not doing specifically for that. But
yes.
We do have some comments on some posts. We did ask people to comment on the movie if they had seen it.
Yes.
I'll read a few of those later in the episode. But once again, we have to let you know, this is a spoiler cast for Star Wars Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian Episode 7. If you do not want to know what happens, do not listen to this. We have also put this very clearly in the post.
Yes.
So there's nothing you can do to say that we didn't do our due diligence here.
Yes. So we are now 2 minutes into the episode, and I think it is time to start Episode 9, as Lee mentioned.
I just got a notification on my phone that Geeks Who Like Sports is live.
You look at that. How awesome is that? Cool. We are live. So if you're watching this on our Facebook page, you will see it. And again, we are recording this on Sunday night. It's December 22nd. A little late here on the East Coast. We'll probably actually go into the wee hours of December 23rd here on the East. But, so also when we talk about football, the Packers and Vikings have not taken place yet. The Packers and Vikings, of course, will be a big Monday night game that we will talk about. I can do that too.
Yeah.
Lee just joined on Facebook.
So we're testing out our own feed here. So just join on Facebook. I'm going to do a Lee, can you see this?
And Travis
Bowman.
Travis has joined. Ryan has Sheehy. Shoot the puck, Sheehy.
I'm going to say, Lee, can you see this? And it's there. There it is.
Look at that.
You can see that the comments are coming through. Ryan, welcome to the show. Travis, welcome to the show.
How
I feel
great
like I just saw you.
Yeah, exactly. They're having. I'm surprised that Travis is here, considering. We appreciate the sport, but we know for a fact he hasn't seen the movie yet.
Oh, Travis, that's a good point. You might want to step out.
I mean, you can keep your phone on as if you're still here, but then walk away. Don't or mute us.
Yes. No. I don't know. Anyway, welcome. I got a lot of people coming in now. Just so you know, this is a spoiler cast for Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. If you have not seen the movie, do not watch this unless you don't care. We got a lot of likes.
Look at that. We got likes. We got laughs. We got surprises. This is great. So how can I tell if I'm watching? Am I watching?
I don't know.
The
volume's on. Oh, man.
Oh,
feedback.
No.
Ray, turn your volume off?
Okay,
what are you doing, man? First time on Facebook?
Well, yes, I don't typically broadcast on Facebook.
Ryan Sheehy has sent us a hockey stick.
Yes, because Travis, I'm everywhere, and also I'm.
Travis, have a good sleep. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Good night, buddy. Let's see. All right, cool.
All right, Star Wars.
Now we will get. Now
we want to start with Mandalorian, or do we want to start with Rise of Skywalker?
I think we got to start with
the Mandalorian came out first.
That is true.
So we should talk about that real quick.
And there is one little thing in Mandalorian that also does happen in. Rise of Skywalker. So
just to give a little backstory on this, The Mandalorian, as you know, came out on Wednesday this week. Rise of Skywalker came out on Friday, depending on where you are or who you are.
Yeah.
All right. And it was said to watch The Mandalorian before The Rise of Skywalker. I'll be honest with you, and we talked about this. I didn't think they were going to reveal anything. I didn't think Baby Yoda is going to show up. all of a sudden in the episode. But we did see Force healing for the first time on screen.
Yes.
When Baby Yoda healed Apollo Creed. I want you, Mando.
Yeah,
I want you, Mando. All right, so we did see that. Great cliffhanger. I am gonna tell a prediction here. I'm assuming that you've seen this. So the very quick synopsis is the Mandalorian goes back to the planet that the whole show started on with Baby Yoda, with the intention of killing Werner Herzog's character to kind of rid himself of the bounty and get back into the guild. And at the end of the episode, the Empire has shown up. The new Moff shows up, and essentially Moff Gideon, and essentially they obtain Baby Yoda, and the Mandalorian is pinned down inside of a cafe.
Yeah, along with Gina Carano's character, whose name escapes me.
It's a cool name. But, and then at the end of the episode, the Ugnaught gets killed.
Queel
gets killed.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call it right now that IG-11 killed Queel. There was too much foreshadowing for that.
Yeah.
He let him raise him, and then just the way that the whole scene takes place, I believe IG-11 is back to full-on bounty hunter mode. He killed Queel.
His original programming overrode whatever Queel did to him.
And he's working with the Empire. That is my belief.
Or they sent some sort of signal that reset him or something or other. I'm sure that I think it's a very sound theory that as we're joined here by Luna.
Oh, Luna's here. My dog's here.
Hello, Luna.
So here's another bold prediction. Is at the end of episode 5, I believe it was. Yeah. When they're fighting for that, I can't remember her name, the bounty hunter, and then he kills the younger bounty hunter. Excuse me for forgetting the name. It's late. And then we see a man's
Ming-Na Wen's character.
Yes. Right? Yeah. We see a foot show up in front of her. I believe. Ryan, you're going to love this. I believe that is Boba Fett. I believe we will see Boba Fett. I'm on Tatooine. I believe that might be Boba Fett.
I'm a little more hesitant to believe that it is Boba Fett returned from the Sarlacc pit.
I believe that it's Boba Fett. I said it.
No, for sure. Yeah,
I've said it.
Yes, you are saying it. You are saying yes. Lee has made his prediction.
Boba Fett.
I would love it to be Boba Fett. I'm still a little bit. I'm hesitant. I'm holding out a little bit. That it is him. Of course, yes, Tatooine could rise from the Sarlacc.
She's no good to me, Dad.
It's been a few years. Yeah, I mean, and he could be working for Moff Gideon. Like
or it's just Boba Fett.
Yeah, it could be.
I think having Boba Fett as like the last spoiler in the show would be like that's a great way to end the season.
Yeah.
Not that I wasn't going to not come back.
Right.
But it's like, oh, it's Boba Fett.
Well, because especially as to our knowledge, the Moff Gideon, who I believe is Giancarlo Esposito, I believe his name is.
Yes.
Moff Gideon, he's only supposed to be in these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Which means that I do not believe that this episode 8 will be a cliffhanger leading into next season. This 2-parter will wrap up, and we will have a relatively true conclusion to season 1. Obviously, there'll be some loose ends to set up season 2. Well, but
we were discussing how Jon Favreau made this, and so I'm expecting somewhat of a Marvel ending where I'm going to get an ending, and then there's going to be a hint towards
an Easter egg or something.
And I think that Boba Fett is the perfect Easter egg of, hey, come back because Boba Fett's going to be in the show.
Yeah.
So could be wrong. Don't know. I have no problem being wrong, but that was The Mandalorian for this week. It was a great episode. It was probably one of the top 3 episodes of the show so far. I mean, that's not saying much when there's only 7 episodes, but wow, lots of comments.
Yeah.
We'll get to those in a minute, but okay, let's see. Okay, Ryan Edward Sheehy,
or
shoot the puck Sheehy, Rez as we call him, not really, says Boba 100%. This is the way. There was a similar clacking of boot and the cape that matches Boba. So
it is possible.
Okay,
it is possible.
Okay.
Also
I gotta get something right.
Moff Gideon though seemed to have a similar stride to him, and he had a cape.
But it was Tatooine. There's just too many things that add up to it being him for me.
Fair enough.
But like I said. It's just Star Wars. Yeah. Okay. So now we have to turn our sights to the rise of Skywalker. Okay. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell all of you that Ray and I enjoyed this movie.
Yes.
The word that I used to describe it was I was satisfied.
Yeah.
Okay.
It stuck the landing.
And I will come because I've been teasing this for weeks. I will now come out and say that I have made my judgment on The Last Jedi.
It sucked.
I did not like it.
It sucked.
All right. It doesn't fit. I understand the people that like it, and I understand why they like it. Yeah. That's not for me. That's just my opinion. Okay, it's not for me.
Well, I mean, I think one of the main reasons for me that episode 8 sucked is it's the only movie in the series. Every other movie in the series, several months, if not years, take place between chapters.
Yeah.
There's a huge jump in time because it's a saga, right? That so that when the new movie picks up, you have this sense of Yeah.
A lot of people agreed with us on that.
Yes, and some didn't, but that's fine. There's this sense of time having passed, and you can have a jump in character development, right? Anakin goes from being a boy to being a Jedi Padawan to being a Jedi Master in Revenge of the Sith. Luke goes from being the guy who blows up the Death Star to the rebels being on retreat from Hoth to him finishing his Jedi training or coming close to finishing his Jedi training before going to rescue Han.
Yeah.
Right, like you had these big jumps. Episode 8, instead of picking up maybe several months into Rey's training with Luke on the planet with the Porgs. I'm just going to call it the Porg planet because I can't remember what it is right now. You pick it up right after.
It's Octo or something like that.
Yeah. It's right after. It's literally the first beat of episode 8 is the last beat of episode 7 of her reaching out the lightsaber. And that is a huge mistake. So much so that JJ in episode 9, I mean, my one critique of this is that the pace felt a bit rushed in episode 9, but it felt like because it was the first hour was JJ apologizing for episode 8 and being like, this is what I would have done with episode 8.
And that's what I liked your analysis of that. The first few minutes, first hour, like you said, first half of Rise of Skywalker seems like, here's what episode 8 should have been if I was doing it. Yeah. I do want to say this real quick. There are aspects of The Last Jedi that I didn't mind. I didn't mind the chase sequence. Like I kind of liked that. Like that wasn't out of place for me. I didn't mind certain aspects of the Jedi training. I really enjoyed Rey's description of the Force and the balance of the Force with Luke. It just didn't work for me in a lot of other ways. Like I didn't want to be challenged like that. There are some films that I enjoy being challenged in terms of like the Joker is a challenging film, right? Like that's a film that's meant to challenge you. Yeah. And challenge your perceptions of the character. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I just didn't think that movie accomplished what it was trying to accomplish. Now, with that said, Rise of Skywalker, right away, complete fan service. Like I have no problem admitting this, right? Fan service, predictable in a lot of ways. Yep. All right. And I'm okay with that. But it left me satisfied. So let's get into some of the nitty gritty of that real quick. So first off is Rey's parentage, right? So Rey is a Palpatine, okay? Now here's the funny thing. It feels weird saying that, although we did say spoilers 100 times. Okay, here's the thing about Rey being a Palpatine that kind of annoys me, but I do have backup here. After The Force Awakens, I said that she could be the Emperor's granddaughter, right? I was adamant about it. And then after Last Jedi, I was like, oh, she's a clone because of this and that. And this totally threw me off. So I'm not going to say that I called it because I didn't. Yeah. But it's just annoying that I had said that so many times. Yeah, I mean, you could see what J.J. Abrams was setting up. And this goes into – we were talking earlier about some criticisms of this whole trilogy. Yeah. Which was it wasn't written out beforehand. Yeah. And that you changed directors midway through. We gotta go back to that. So just for those of you listening, again, they did not write the whole trilogy at once, like several other movies have done. Most of the Marvel movies have, all the way up to Thanos, have been planned out. Yeah, at least outlined. Yeah, right. Like not necessarily every line of dialogue. They knew how they got to the point they got to. This movie, Force Awakens, was done, and nothing else was written, which was a major mistake. Number one. Okay. Ryan Sheehy also just said that the only thing he didn't like about The Last Jedi was Canto Bight, which is the casino planet, which was totally abandoned. Including the character of Rose. Rose became a side. And here's the thing: I know people are mad that Rose became like this. Like JJ just ignored her in the third movie. Where did she have to go? Like, she had nothing to do. Honestly, that whole storyline that they tried to set up with her and Finn as a love interest was unnecessary. And I also want to say this: Rose would have been a much interesting character in Rian Johnson's film had she made the ultimate sacrifice at the end and died. And so exactly. And so JJ basically is like, well, you should have died. You're basically dead to me. And he gave her less lines than Greg Grunberg, the one of the rebel pilots. Yeah, it was very interesting. Yeah, and her part worked in Rise of Skywalker. They did an okay job. Right. But it's very interesting that Rey is a Palpatine. And it pits Kylo against Rey as the Skywalker versus the Palpatines, which is the eternal good versus evil, right? Yeah. And then you have a few aspects here. The redemption of Kylo Ren, right? Yeah. It was very well done. Which is something that I had mentioned previously that I thought was going to happen. Yes. And what I loved, I think you said this, but someone had talked about how he idolized Vader. Right. And essentially did what Vader did, but even took it a step further, saving the woman instead of killing, his wife. Right. All right. But it's the same redemption story. And like that if you wanted to be Vader, that is part of the artistic aspect, that you are exactly what he is. And you sacrificed yourself to save Rey. towards the end of the film. Let's just get through some of the things that like I've been waiting for, right? So like the Rise scene, which is why it's called Rise of Skywalker, where all the old Jedi Knights come back.
Yes.
With the cameos, was super happy with that. I saw this with my brother, and he asked me right before we saw, like, what do you want to see? And I said, actually, one of the things I really want is Qui-Gon Jinn involved in some way.
Yeah.
All right, because I was very upset during Revenge of the Sith that Qui-Gon was not in that movie, even as just a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, didn't have to be a Force ghost. It just, they mention him at the end, and everyone's like, Qui-Gon!
Yeah.
Cut. Like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, it really killed me.
Yeah.
So I loved hearing him. I loved hearing Ahsoka. I love hearing Anakin Skywalker as Hayden Christensen.
Yep.
I love both Obi-Wans. It was very well done.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, and Hayden Christensen even alludes to the fact that as Vader, when he throws Palpatine into the Death Star shaft, and we talked about this, is that he's like, bring balance to the Force as I did, which is basically saying you have to kill Palpatine, which is kind of what he, Anakin was always supposed to bring balance to the Force. I believe in the cartoons there he gets a vision where if he goes a certain way, he can do it another way. Yeah. But he falls to the dark side, but he still ends up fulfilling the prophecy in his own way. Yeah. And this is Rey's chance to do so. So we got some more comments from Ryan. Didn't mind the Luke story arc. He was grumpy and whiny in Empire and Return of the Jedi. I love that they gave that to us again when Yoda burned the tree.
That was the best part of Last Jedi.
Yeah, basically Yoda and talking to Luke. I mean, and that's the thing, is that I think that was part of it too, is that Luke, I think, was completely mishandled by Rian Johnson. I think even
Mark Hamill said that.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the things we spoke about is Luke's first line in The Rise of Skywalker is he catches the lightsaber, which is a force power I've never seen before as a ghost.
Right.
But says these things need to be treated with more respect.
Yeah.
Which was not a line for us. That was a line to Rian Johnson. I have to believe that.
Yeah, no,
it was a fan service line.
Right.
And then he just goes, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, was that for us or was that for someone else?
Exactly.
This will begin to make things right.
Yes, I mean, I understand that, like, I know people were mad that, like, Force Ghost Luke can, like, interact with real objects, but, like, I can live with JJ stretching some of the rules of the Force.
Well, it's his lightsaber, too. I mean, there's so many ways
That's exactly. That's why he could interact with it. So, I mean.
This is one of those movies, I have to say this. If you analyze this movie too deep, you're going to start it'll fall apart. Yeah, because look, there are moments where things are very convenient. The appearance of Lando both times are very convenient. Yes. A lot of it was convenient. The scroll was convenient.
Yeah.
The dead speak.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
How convenient there's that the dead speak.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Like right off the bat, JJ just is like, here's the plot.
Yeah.
Here's what happened. But again, that also goes back to the fact though that JJ is establishing time has passed between episode 8 and episode 9. Rey has been being trained by Leia in the ways of the Force. We get this was something that I love. We get the fact that Leia was trained all the way up to, I want to say, at least Jedi Knight level.
She was. She beats Luke in this.
She can outfight Luke with a lightsaber. She has her own saber, and she basically completes Rey's training up to a point.
Yeah.
I mean, and the fact that even that Luke and Leia knew what Rey's lineage was, and that they still trained her, shows the good of the Skywalkers shows them as character. Again, it's J.J. Abrams handled the characters better than Rian Johnson did in terms of what their roots were in the original trilogy.
I think also, I forget if it was Maz Kanata or somebody even said that, or it was Rey, I might have said that she trained her knowing that she was a Palpatine.
Right, yeah.
And Leia has the line that was, I mean, it's from another movie, but she said, never be afraid of who you are. It was well done.
Yeah.
They handled Carrie Fisher perfectly in this film. I thought it was extremely respectful.
Yes.
I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they did it because it helped to round out the film.
Yeah.
So again, we're all over the place here because we're thinking about.
There's so much stuff to talk about.
So one thing I do want to talk about is there were some emotional moments in this film,
and
what I found funny is the only time in this film there was a few moments that kind of hit me a little bit, but not to the point of tears. There's only one moment in this film that got me very close to crying.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be vulnerable here for a minute, but it's funny because a lot of people have things. But when Leia died, not when Leia died. When they told Chewie that Leia had passed and he fell to his knees, that was the hardest part of the movie for me.
Yeah,
because it hits you that he has lost everything at this point.
Yeah,
and it's Chewie, right? So it's Chewie, and like that really got me. I mean, it really got me bad. And we're just gonna have to walk around saying for Chewie now for the rest of our lives. And
Yeah.
Chewie finally gets a medal too, which was cute.
That was nice. Yeah, there was a few moments that I kind of got choked up at, but that was definitely the big one. Ryan agrees. Chewie down on his knees.
That's got to be like someone in their 30s up thing. It was like, I'm not Chewie.
Yeah, but it's like you said, he lost everything. I mean, even and I love this when Force Awakens first came out, there was a meme going around where it's like, well, why did Chewie not hit him in the chest or the head? Yeah. And it's like, and it's that little thing where he's going through memories of like Chewie had to have known Ben because obviously he's best friends with Han, and so his aim was just a little off. Just because
he wasn't trying to kill him.
Exactly.
He wasn't trying to kill him.
Exactly.
It's his best friend's son.
Right, but that's just
I would expect you not to kill my son.
Exactly. He's Uncle Chewie, right? Like just like I'm Uncle Chewie.
He is.
Right?
I would expect you not to kill my kid.
Exactly. And that's why it's kind of one of those things where you realize, he's even lost Ben. Yeah. Right? So he's lost Ben, he's lost Han, he's lost Leia, he's lost Luke. I mean, he's and it just kind of overwhelms him. And in that moment, he's more human than anybody else.
Funny side note about Chewie that somebody made this point. This will make you all laugh. Is that Chewie's 250 years old in this movie, and someone made this really funny thing. If he ages like that, then in Wookiee years we age like dogs, right? So are we Chewie's pets?
Well, I mean, I think wasn't there a book where it's like Chewie thinks of Han as like the pet, like a pet, like or it's almost instead of like.
So I thought that was something for you to think about.
Yeah.
But that scene got me. Obviously, the scene where Kylo Ren dies and he is confronted by the memory of Han Solo. First off, thank you, Harrison Ford, for doing that scene.
Yes.
Okay, we didn't know if he was going to be back.
Yeah.
Beautiful scene, complete recreation of the scene where Han dies.
Yeah.
Right, with an alternate ending, obviously.
Yeah.
And the dynamite. I know. Instead of saying "I love you" to his son, perfect. And again, these are complete fan service things. Yeah, complete.
Oh yeah,
and so enjoyable. For me.
But they're just so well done. I mean, that whole scene, everything leading up to that scene. By the way, the lightsaber battle on the fallen Death Star on the actual planet of Endor, not the Forest Moon, actual Endor. Yeah. Like, I mean, that was such a big deal. Rey seeing her force, her evil side with the awesome double-bladed lightsaber. I mean, it's just really, really well done. The idea that obviously there's only 2 Sith maps to the Sith capital, and of course, because there'll only be 2 because of Rule of 2. Yeah.
Which is something I think they should actually focus on in future shows or films. Yes. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just very, very smartly done. I think in a lot of ways. Again, I think pacing was a bit of an issue, but they had to cram a lot. JJ crammed a lot into a little bit of time. He had a lot of loose ends he had to tie up. He did, while also introducing new characters. I love Babu, the guy who worked in the droid. Hey! He was terrific. Kerry Russell's character, Zuli. She was terrific. I would have loved if she took her mask off at some point, but
that's not the way.
But she's not a Mandalorian.
Doesn't matter.
She's not, but she was terrific. Right. I think Poe had a lot of good stuff.
Poe was good.
I loved also that they hinted at Finn being a Force sensitive.
Well, I mean, I think there was more than hinted.
I mean, but I mean, I think also but any stormtrooper that can break their brainwashing,
that was cool.
Is possibly Force sensitive, leading into possibly does Rey start training the Jedi again and start with like Finn and those other ex-stormtroopers who are on the planet of Endor.
Essentially, this film ended the similar way that Jedi did. With a little more closure. Right?
Yes, the Emperor is definitely dead at this point. Well, I mean, there are. He lurks with clones.
These are the questions that I have, right? And these are not questions I need answered right now. That's one of the things I like about this film. I didn't leave it feeling disappointed, right? But a few things. We talk about balance in the Force. Now, balance to me means there has to be light and dark. But this film pretty much acknowledged that balance is the light side taking out the dark side. I think that was acknowledged by Anakin. Yeah. That to balance the Force as I did.
You must eradicate the dark.
So that was something that was up for debate. So in the Star Wars universe, that's what that balance means. Okay?
Yes. Sorry, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, and Freddie Prinze was in this movie too as one of the voices. Ryan, you did say that earlier. He is from his Rebels character. Yeah. All right, so now here's the other thing, okay? the rule, I have to quickly explain this. So some of you are going to know this, some of you aren't. The rule of two here. So the rule of two is very simple. It's one to hold the power and one to crave the power. That is the rule of two, okay? Yeah. And Palpatine holds the power and was looking for the apprentice to crave the power with the understanding, and this is well documented in the expanded universe, that the apprentice kills the master and inherits the power of the Sith. That's how it goes. The master knows that when an apprentice is strong enough to kill them, they deserve the mantle of the Sith. Hence why, henceforth be known as, sorry, I had to do that. Yeah. Hence why Palpatine is so desperate to have someone take his power, including his granddaughter, right? Now, what I liked about this movie, and again, this is my geek knowledge here. The rule of two was created by Darth Bane, okay, who was actually a pretty weak Sith Lord at one point when the Sith had thousands of Sith Lords throughout the galaxy. And he was the one that figured out that you cannot spread out the dark side. It cannot be diluted. It has to be within one individual. It's a phenomenal book series if you've ever read it, the Darth Bane series. Yeah. Okay. Now, the genius behind this movie was that in this movie, and this is the only credit I can give Rian Johnson, if it's even him, there's now one Jedi that encapsulates all of the Jedi. So that would actually explain why Rey is the strongest Jedi ever, if you will, right? 1,000 generations live within you now. So you have the one Sith Lord and the one Jedi together fighting. That was pretty cool for me as someone who's like a Star Wars historian, right? That the Jedi could never defeat the Sith with all the Jedi because it's too diluted, right? And now the Jedi have defeated the Sith. And I'm using quotations because I don't think they're ever actually defeated. The dark side had to go somewhere. Yeah.
The dark side is still out there.
Yeah, but
it's still tempting.
I love that was a good explanation of why they defeated him. Now, another thing that happened in that scene is that, and Ray explains this better than I do, but the JJ changed the connection between Kylo and Rey. So in the second movie, the connection was based off of that. Apparently, Snoke was creating that, right? In this movie, they say that no, he's not creating that. They have this connection.
They just have this special this Force connection, which, funny enough, we talked about also though is that if this is canon and it wasn't touched much in the movie, Palpatine is suspected to be actually the father of Anakin Skywalker, right? And that's why he's always been kind of grooming him for a long time to kind of, post the death of Maul once he's found and all this other stuff to kind of start taking over. And the idea that Vader would one day supplant the Emperor. Also, the fact that the Emperor is kind of obsessed with passing on his spirit or his Force essence into his next of kin. This is something that is explained a lot in this movie, and actually is something that is drawn from the books. It's something that the Emperor he's experimented with clone technology. It is alluded that Snoke is a failed clone, but that is kind of a
confirmed, right?
Yeah,
there were clones of Snoke in this.
Yes, and then he even mentioned that he created Snoke and every other voice.
Well, because the dark side is a pathway to many abilities, some considered to be unnatural.
Yes, and Palpatine is the most powerful, especially in this state, the most powerful of the Sith Lords. By the way, his black and red robe, I've said this before, it is so good.
They did him
really well. It looks so good.
Yeah. Palpatine was awesome.
Yeah.
Ian McDermott was
he
awesome.
just chews up the scenery as always.
So good in his films. And I love that he was blind. I love that he was missing limbs. He couldn't walk. Very weak, but very powerful at the same time.
Yeah, he needed this apparatus to kind of move his body around, but then he still had people who were loyal to him, which I assume, of course, are the people who rescued him from the Death Star and whatnot.
Again, one of those, that's a JJ. It was super vague, no explanation.
Right, you don't need to look too much into it.
It was well done, and again, I love that it was him and the power of him, and I don't know if that was JJ's plan from the start or not.
No, but it makes so much sense. It makes so much more sense. But yes, basically they retcon and say no, this link is just them strong in the Force. And going back to is that so if Rey is the granddaughter of Palpatine, but also the father of Skywalker, which means the grandfather of Luke, which means great-grandfather of Ben. Yes. Luke and Leia. We had another incest kiss when Rey kisses Ben.
We gotta explain this a little bit. Yeah. So it is apparently canon right now, through comic books, that Palpatine is the father of Darth Vader. That he manipulated the midichlorians in Shmi Skywalker. Man, I feel like a geek talking about this stuff. He manipulated the midichlorians into Shmi to create Anakin, making Palpatine the father, technically the father. We have to be technically. meaning that Anakin Skywalker is the son of Palpatine, also meaning that Rey is the granddaughter of Palpatine, meaning that kiss was cousins. It was cousins.
They're kind of related. The bloodlines kind of match up, which would also again explain the weird connection that they have.
Well, it makes me wonder, did JJ even know that when he did that?
Yeah, I wonder too. I'm sure it was just a matter of obviously these two. The connection was more like kindred spirits.
I'm waiting for Star Wars. Oh no, that's a legend story. It's a legend story.
It's legend. It's
a legend story.
It doesn't count. Disney's like,
But yeah, that was a little weird. I do want to talk about this. Ryan is talking about the end of the film where Rey buries both lightsabers, and there's Luke and Leia, the space sister and space brother, together.
Yeah.
Ryan, her lightsaber was yellow.
Yeah.
Which is it is a neutral color between both sides of the Force, meaning balance, which was, I think, very metaphorical at the end.
Yeah.
That maybe she is encapsulating.
And I don't know if that was necessarily a double blade there at the end.
Oh, it wasn't.
Right? It was single.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Blade.
The double blade was only in her Force vision.
Yeah. I didn't expect to see a double blade.
Yeah.
But it was a yellow. It was the first yellow lightsaber we've ever seen.
Yes, in movie.
Not in a video game.
Yeah, video. Yes, yeah. Video games we've seen yellow before. And I think even books they've mentioned that there's yellow crystals. So
there are.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically, I think in the original release of Star Wars, the blades were almost white or yellow.
Right. Yeah.
They've been anyway. We're getting too deep into it. Jeffrey Dwyer is here listening as well. Jeff, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We will talk about potential alternate endings in a little bit that we would have wanted to see, but overall, super satisfied with this movie.
I mean,
I can't be. I liked Luke. I liked Leia. I liked everything. I liked Lando. I mean, I felt satisfied, and I needed that. I really needed that. And this brings up a kind of a bigger point, is that with franchises like this, we talked about this with Ghostbusters a bit too.
Mm-hmm.
It's people say, well, it's for kids, it's for this. And I'm like, it is, but
it's for
doesn't
everybody.
mean you can sacrifice these people that have dedicated so much time.
Yeah.
The best meme I've seen differently, I posted this on our Geeks Who Likes Sports group, was about a lot of people are coming into Star Wars now because of the Mandalorian. And by the way, welcome. No problem with that at all.
Welcome to the club.
But I love this meme. It was Cassian from Rogue One, and it says, suddenly Star Wars is real free. But I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly how I feel about this. It's I want you to be here, but don't push us away.
Yeah.
That's what Ghostbusters did wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, and it has nothing to do with the cast. I said, if that
don't ignore what came before.
Yeah.
It's that simple. We should get that shirt made of that. Don't ignore what came before. It's that easy, guys. Because when you do that, like you said, Lee, you're just ostracizing a lot of your audience. And now that Lee has kids. But if you want to if you make us mad, why are we going to get our kids into your franchise?
Yeah.
And it's going to be harder to continue this stuff. All you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot. You're cutting your nose off to spite your face.
Again, with Star Wars, my brother had joked it was like Star Wars Episode 9. Let's get this over with, right?
Yeah.
Because we got to move on, and this story needs to end.
We got a lot of other stories that aren't Skywalker involved that we can talk about.
Old Republic. I talked about Darth Bane. They should totally do a Sith show about how the Rule of Two came to be. I would totally be on that. But with that said, let's talk about the future of Star Wars real quick. Mandalorian is a great start. We know that is going to probably be the future.
Yes.
We'll have an Obi-Wan show. There's always been talk of a Darth Maul show. I think Disney Plus is the direction we're going to be going on.
Yeah.
Don't need films for a while. I don't need a Star Wars film.
No.
The other thing, too, is that it's also a false assumption that if there is a film in the future, that it's going to be a trilogy. It doesn't have to be.
No.
Star Wars kind of created that.
Because Disney has said that they do want to have another Star Wars movie out in 2 years.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be, it doesn't have to be, like you said, it doesn't have to be a trilogy. It can just be a one-off. It can be set anywhere else in the, it can be set anywhere else in the timeline, which is now huge. Yeah. Just don't drop a moon on Chewie. Just don't do that.
Yeah, that's what happened in the books.
Oh, God, that was terrible.
In the books, Chewie dies. Well, that's a pretty epic. I mean, so Han has 2 kids. He has twins.
3.
Well, no, okay, I'm sorry. He has 2 twins, and then he has a third.
Yes, he had Jaina.
Ben was actually the third kid, right?
Ben
was the first. You're right.
No, they don't name any of the kids Ben in the books.
Yes, they do.
Jason, Jaina, and Anakin. They actually named the third kid Anakin, who's actually a techno force user. He's good with. He can instill the force in machines.
He's right. Anyway, Chewie saves them.
Also very rare power.
Chewie saves them by pretty much throwing them on the Falcon, and he gets hit by a moon.
Yeah,
and he doesn't survive that.
Yeah, no. No, the series kind of took a turn there. Anyway, in the books,
Han just sulks for 4 books.
Yeah, you can keep that as legends. But yeah, so real quick before we go on, what was some of your favorite moments from the movie overall? Like, give me your like top 3 if you can.
In no particular order.
No particular order.
Okay, one is going to be the rise scene. I was waiting for that. All the Jedi to come back. Somebody said to it, "Didn't you want to see the Force Ghosts?" And my answer to that is, I would have loved to see the Force Ghosts. Yeah, but I'm beggars can't be choosers kind of thing. Like I'm satisfied with that. That was a pretty amazing scene. I really liked seeing the redemption of Kylo with Han and Leia, especially with Harrison Ford. That scene was really impactful to me because I think it's actually kind of gutsy to repeat a scene from your other movie. Yeah, but it was really well done when he he throws off the Kylo and just to hear Han say "I know" again. Yeah. If I had to pick a third one, this space battle was pretty amazing. I mean,
for me, definitely the biggest part to build off that, the space battle was when the Emperor shoots the lightning up into the sky, and basically it's just a giant ion cannon and takes out. He basically, if it wasn't for Rey, he was going to literally take out every Resistance ship by himself.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, when Rey shoots Dark Force lightning against Kylo on the one planet, she actually thinks she killed Chewie. Also, yes, for sure. Also, still kind of right before that, when she cuts Kylo's TIE fighter in two.
That was an awesome scene.
Yeah,
they should never show that in the trailer.
They kind of spoiled that a little bit, but that was
we all knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, but it still was awesome to see on screen.
Yeah, but most of this movie, those are my favorite scenes. But like the movie's, it's paced like you said so quickly. Who's that director that makes movies where the dialogue is so fast? I can't remember right now.
Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah, it felt like an Aaron Sorkin speed. I wouldn't say script, but it's like
definitely not a script.
It moves. It moves. It doesn't stop at all. It's like, you know who these people are. Yeah. You don't need to know anymore. You know the Emperor. I'm not going to give any backstory on that. Right.
Waste no time.
I was very satisfied with this film.
Yeah.
I left the way I wanted to leave. Mm-hmm. Okay. There was some crisscross between Rey and Kylo, which I was looking for. I like that they came together at the end, that Ben Solo was redeemed, that Rey is the last Jedi. Yeah, I'm very happy. It felt very finalized at the end with an open that I don't expect to be filled anytime soon. In fact, the opening is probably like JJ and these guys go like, next generation of directors, this is your problem. Yeah. Okay.
Have fun.
We're done. I'm going to go make something else right now.
Yeah. Also, real quick before we wrap up, I know a lot of folks have been complaining that it just seems that the Emperor does the same thing over and over again, but I really think that's cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, do your thing.
New Hope, Death Star. Return of the Jedi, bigger Death Star. Force Awakens, planet-sized Death Star. This one, okay, that's not working. We're going to go reverse. Yeah. 1,000 mini Death Stars. Denny's Death Star cannons on top of all the Star Destroyers.
Well, they are called Star Destroyers.
Yeah. Exactly.
It makes sense.
And actually, I believe in the books, there are instances where a fleet of Star Destroyers can destroy planets when all firing their turbo lasers at the same time.
Yeah, it's like 100 of them though. But
but this is basically following in that vein. So for those of you who don't like that, piss off.
Yeah, it's Star Wars. That's what Star Wars is. Yeah. I mean, it's like why every planet has one topical feature. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, and even in the books, the Star Killer, which was I don't remember if actually that's the name, but it's a ship that would shoot a bomb into a sun to make it go nova to take out an entire solar system.
Yeah, keep in mind too, like the Hutts tried to build a Death Star in the books.
Yes, they called it the dark. They called it the Dark Saber. It was a big. It was just the cannon part of the with a hyperdrive part of the Death Star. It wasn't like a full space station.
So overall, we're happy with it. If you're not happy with this film, which is totally okay, comment. We want to know why. Yeah. Okay. We don't see people disagree with us sometimes, which is great, but we don't get a lot of here's why. Mm-hmm. We're looking for that. Okay. So real quick here, Ray, before we move to sports, a friend of mine, Mike Alexander, who listens to this occasionally, did this great ranking of the newer movies from Force Awakens on. I agreed with his list, and his list was this. Number 1 is Rogue One. This is worst, I'll say it. Rogue One is number 1 of the new movies. I agree with him wholeheartedly on that. Followed by The Force Awakens. He had 3 and 4 tied between Solo and The Rise of Skywalker, which I can see how those could interchange. Mm-hmm. Followed by The Last Jedi.
I'll agree with your first and last movie.
Yes.
But I actually, and maybe it's still fresh for me, but I enjoyed this so much. I actually would put Rise of Skywalker 2, Force Awakens 3, and Solo 4. And so actually really my only change is that I would move Rise of Skywalker a little higher.
You did there.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker a little higher.
It also is funny because, by the way, funny moment in the theater, and Jeff, who is it? Ryan's talking about the scene with all the ships. When all the ships showed up, I turned to my brother, I go, under left. Because there was an Avengers scene. It was just the complete the destruction of Thanos again, which was great.
Yes.
I give him credit. Yeah. I can see JJ like, well, we have to do it.
Yeah.
It's a choice. We have to do it. So that was pretty cool.
I also love the little scene Wedge Antilles coming back and destroying one of the Star Destroyers.
That's how they got. Look, we need you for 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. We're just gonna put you in a cockpit, put you in a vest, comb your hair. Come on, and there you go. So Dennis Lawson, the guy who plays Wedge.
Whoever it was. Thank you for coming back.
Yes. No, it was. Yeah.
He said he would never do it again. Also, Anthony Daniels had a ton of time in
this film. Was the most useful C-3PO has ever been in Star Wars.
Yeah, and they made note of that in there.
Yeah.
Anthony Daniels, who's great. We've actually met him. We did meet him. We met him.
I've met him a couple of times. I also met him at Carnegie Mellon.
Dude, the really nicest guy. Too. Really quick story for those of you. We were at Celebration 5 in Orlando 10 years ago. Yeah, it's funny because the 10th anniversary of that's coming up. But
wow.
He is such a showman, Anthony Daniels. So he comes on stage, just walks across the stage, and just leaves, right? And he's doing this, and so Ray and I start a 3PO chant.
Yeah,
and it's like the one time we actually started it. I know we did.
Oh, it was definitely us.
The jock and the jock.
I was gonna say the sports side of us came out. We had to start a chant.
And then he came out. That's what brought him back out. He would have came out anyway. We know
of course, yeah. But it definitely we helped him ham it up, and we always take pride in that.
It was a geek moment that I'll have forever.
Yeah, it was a geeks who like sports moment.
It was.
Yeah.
Sports. We should probably get to that. It's really hard.
Yes, I know. We've spent now 40 minutes talking about Star Wars.
Let's just make sure we get to all the comments real quick. I thought the same thing, Lee, as it happened with the Avengers. That's absolutely Jeff said that. And that's exactly what happened. Wedge is actually Ewan McGregor's uncle. That is true.
That is true. Yes.
Thank you for letting us know. Ewan McGregor again, who says to Ray, "These are your final steps."
Yes.
In the Rise scene, instead of "These are your first steps."
Yeah.
Really well. I actually can't wait to see that scene again, and without my mind going, "Oh my God, everybody's like." Right, so really good, and Hayden Christensen, great. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for asking him back.
Yeah, I will say I am actually looking forward to seeing the movie again here in my home, because I don't know about your theater, but it was actually hard to hear depending on where you sat because they fully used the surround sound.
That was good. I could hear.
So my hearing is a little, but so some of them I could hear better than others. So I prefer to actually just hear them all coming from one direction, because it was like Hayden was over here and Ewan was over there and Yoda was here, and it was just like, so it was a bit much, and I'm trying to pick out everybody and listen to here, and some fell through the cracks.
Yeah. Also, just a quick note, just in case you didn't know, J.J. Abrams is Dio in the film. The little droid, that's actually J.J. Abrams.
Yep, huge metal fan.
Yeah, BB-8 wasn't used that much in this, but he was fun.
BB did. It's actually the one who was used the least was R2-D2.
I mean, we was with Leia, which I thought was cool.
Right, which was smart.
They didn't use 3PO and R2 as much in these films, obviously, that they have in the past. Although 3PO was everywhere in this film. I was kind of surprised.
He was a huge integral part of the plot.
Yeah, I almost think that was them saying to Daniels, like, "Thank you for your service."
Yeah, we're gonna give you a little bit of the limelight, because I know I've gone on record before saying that sometimes 3PO isn't my favorite character.
Yeah, he's annoying at times.
Yes.
But he was funny. When he comes back online, his memory's wiped.
He was a lot of fun in this. And then when he has the devil voice when he's translating the Sith text, that was very funny.
If I'm not mistaken, that voice sounded a lot like the eye that comes out of Jabba's palace, and there was something there. I mean, I think that might have been a throwback, but anyway,
I have to look at the credits.
Rise of Skywalker gets our thumbs up.
Yes,
good film. Enjoyed it. It is what it needed to be. It was very much Endgame. All right.
Yeah. For sure. It's all the greatest hits.
Yeah. Infinity War is better than Endgame. Empire is better than Rise of Skywalker. But it's what I needed to get through my day.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done.
And they're all better than Last Jedi. Damn you, Ryan Johnson.
Yeah. Again, I know Ryan Sheehy's defended this film a few times, and you're right. I told you I would say it when I got out. I was not satisfied with that film. It did not challenge me in the ways that I wanted to be challenged. Okay? Yeah. The way I wanted to be challenged was I wanted to see Rey and Kylo crisscross from the dark side to the light side.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been a challenge. They didn't go that way. I mean, they kind of did, but I'm fine. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also very cool. I love how connected they were, that they could actually transport between locations.
What do you mean?
Like not transport, but like when they were fighting Rey and Kylo, but like the scene would change where they were.
Yeah.
Like and there were like little things where he would grab her necklace, or or like
the
beans would fall down near Kylo, but fall into it. Exactly. Yeah, that was a really interesting. It took me a while to get on board with that, because at first I'm like, what the heck's happening? But then when I realized it's like they're just so connected, they have such a bond that it can actually transcend space and time. That I was like, I'm on board with this, because they're also both of them are also so strong in the Force because of their lineage.
It was well done. Well done.
So, all right. So 45 minutes of Star Wars talk. Now transitions
10 minutes of sports.
Yes. So the big news, of course, this week is we have a more clear playoff picture for the NFL. The refs still suck.
Horrible.
Me and Lee actually watched a lot of football today together, which was a lot of fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
We'll kick it off with the big news. We're both happy, him more than me. His Eagles beat the Cowboys 17-9.
Stumbling into a good position.
Yes. Now all they have to do is beat the Giants next week.
If only we're that easy.
If they beat the Giants next week in Giants Stadium, the Eagles will win the division with a 9-7 record and get the 4 seed. If the Eagles lose and the Cowboys beat the Redskins, the Cowboys will win the division with an 8-8 record, because they have the
teams lose, the Eagles get the play.
with an 8-8 record. Yes. So the odds favor the Eagles now.
Yeah.
But it was a hard fought game. The defenses came to play. Yeah. Eagles missed a couple of field goals that let Dallas kind of hang around. Yeah. But Dak Prescott's receivers, 6 drops today. Really, those guys didn't come to play. That Randall Cobb signing.
That's what the Eagles were known for. Drops. So that was funny to me. But
so the Randall Cobb signing not really working out too well for Dak Prescott. Amari Cooper not really was not a factor. And again, and we've said this before. I said it about Saquon Barkley with the Giants. Yeah. Zeke Elliott had 13 touches for almost 50 yards. Yeah. Dude's averaging almost 4 yards a carry. He got off to a very slow start, to be fair. Yeah. But he had his first 4 carries had net -1 yards. But that means his last 9, he had almost 50. The dude found his stride. Give the dude the rock. Like, I mean, it's basic football, folks. Like, it just
there's nothing basic about these teams right now.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying. Bird showed up to play today. They did. Yep. It was a home game.
The defense really stood.
Carson Wentz looked really good today. No interceptions.
Malcolm Jenkins played his heart out on defense at corner.
It was funny in race here, so I'm not lying to you at home, but I did say before this game, if they show up today, they can win the game.
Yeah.
Right? And these rookies have to perform, and they did. Yeah. The Cowboys didn't perform. It's just that's simple.
Yeah,
right? And it's funny because Jason Garrett is probably going to be fired now at the end of the season, as he should be. No offense to anybody who likes him.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones left early. Well, not early. Once the game was kind of over,
he in the last 30 seconds. Once the Eagles got that last first down, which also Miles, what's his name? Sanders? No, what's Miles? Your running back.
No, I think it's Sanders.
Is it Sanders? Right, Miles Sanders. He broke one there at the end and just slid down and just very smartly. Boston Scott and Miles Sanders are your 2 running backs. He had a nice day, 20 carries, almost 80 yards, and also 77 yards receiving. Like, he definitely was Wentz's safety valve, and the dude took advantage of all those opportunities. But I mean, again, a lot of guys just they found a way to make it work in Philly, and you guys deserve to win. You played better. The Cowboys had their chances. They had to settle for 3 long field goals. And 6 drops. So the Eagles are in the driver's seat for the 4 seed in the NFC. Meanwhile, the Saints won, the Niners won, the Seahawks get stunned by Arizona. So right now, the Niners have the inside track for the 1 seed. They just have to beat Seattle next week. The other big game, the one that we mentioned the last week, the Vikings. By the way, everybody in this house, including myself, me, Lee, his kids, we're all sick. Yeah. So that's why we've been drinking a lot of tea.
We're dedicated to being here for you.
Yes. But amazingly, the Vikings and Packers. If the Vikings beat the Packers tomorrow night, the Vikings jump to the 3 seed. The Packers drop to at least the 5. The Saints move up to the 2.
So weird.
If the Packers win tomorrow night, the Vikings basically lock up the 6 seed. The Packers basically lock up the 2. The Saints are basically the 3. So if the Packers win tomorrow night, a lot of stuff will be basically solidified in the NFC.
And we don't know who's going to win tomorrow night.
We have no idea. We are, like I said, those of you who are watching us live, it is Sunday night, is December 22nd. It is actually it just turned over to December 23rd, actually. You can't, my computer is still on LA
That's my
time. So,
bedtime.
but yeah, and in the AFC, lots of shockers. The Steelers lost to the Jets.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
I mean, to be fair, the Steelers are the most injury-plagued team in the league probably right now this year without Ben Roethlisberger. I will say this for the Steelers. They have credit for now being 8-7. Also, they now realize they don't have neither of their backup quarterbacks are successors to Ben Roethlisberger. They both look terrible. They'll probably
take a helmet to the head.
Yeah. They will probably draft a quarterback now, I would imagine, in this upcoming draft.
They have to. It shows your weakness.
So. For sure. You can only ride your defense for so long. And the Jets, give the Jets credit. They squeaked out a tough one, and the Jets got healthy. The Jets were a better team this year than most people give them credit for because they got hurt so much so early. They got off to that slow start, but they turned it around. I think they were started 1-7. Now they're 6-9. So that's 5-2 in their last 7. You give them credit. They played the spoiler role very well. They did so again today because the Titans, even though the Titans lost to the Saints today, somehow the Titans and Steelers now flip-flop in the standings. And even though Houston has won the division, basically locked up the 4 seed in the AFC, if the Titans beat the Texans, the Titans get the 6 seed, Texans get the 4. The Bills have locked the 5. They cannot go up or down. The Ravens lock up the 1. They cannot. They are in that. And basically, if the Chiefs and Patriots both win again next week, they are the 2 and 3. If the Chiefs win and the Patriots lose, they'll flip-flop. But the odds of that are unlikely because the Dolphins played it.
He's an idiot, Savant. Okay, we don't ask for these stats. He just has them in his head.
They're just all there. Literally, you can't. All we're seeing on our screen right now is your guys' comments. This is not. I don't have notes here. There's nothing here. It's just all.
He doesn't. Rain Man.
Yep,
Rain Man.
That's me. I'm Rain Man. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna watch Wapner after this.
Tell him, Ray. Kmart sucks. So everything's kind of shaping up here in the NFL right now.
Yes.
Obviously, with the NFC East and whether it's the Cowboys or the Eagles, it's going to take a miracle for one of those teams to even get past the first round. So I mean that, and that's not unheard of in the NFL.
Whether they're playing the Seahawks, the Niners, the Packers, whoever.
I'm going to geek this up a little bit more.
It's going to be
talking sports now. Here we go. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, then. For those of you who are just listening, Lee has put on a Pikachu hat. For those of you watching at home, you're in for a treat. You're seeing it as we speak. But it was a good day of football. Again, the Ravens just unbelievably Jeffrey Dwyer. I can only get my underwear at Kmart. The Ravens absolutely beat up on the Browns. Looked very good. Mark Ingram pulled up a little lame in the second half, but he will be okay. He'll probably be shut down. Thankfully, the Ravens have a bye for them, but he should be good with ready to go by the playoffs, their first game of the playoffs. Lamar Jackson continues to set all kinds of records, set the all-time franchise touchdown record for a single season for the Ravens, which is amazing considering it's his second year in the league.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
unbelievable. That team is unbelievable.
Yeah, they are clicking on all cylinders. They just need to stay healthy next week. I would not be surprised if Harbaugh does not just start like at least the second half of most of the backups.
Yeah. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, no, exactly. So
it's just other sports real quick because we could keep talking about football.
Yeah.
We will talk about hockey a little bit more in the coming weeks.
Yes.
Once next week ends.
Rangers won today. Woo!
Flyers won yesterday. Woo! Okay, so we will get into hockey. Hockey's about to hit its halfway point.
Yep.
Keeping in mind that I talk about hockey all day on my other channel. So that's one of the reasons I don't talk about it too much on here.
Yeah.
But we will get into hockey and basketball a little bit after the NFL season, regular season ends. We'll have some more time for that.
For sure.
I know a lot of you like those sports too, and obviously we do too, but we'll get into that. But NFL going into week 18, right?
Week 17 next week.
Week 17. I said 17.
Yeah.
I might have heard something else. No, sorry. Week 17 is coming up, last week of the regular season. And we'll know who's in the playoffs, and things will start to shape up.
And then we'll start making some really solid predictions.
And then teams will get eliminated. It'll get easier.
Yes. Yeah, obviously Vegas has the odds-on favorite as the Ravens right now.
As they should.
No surprise for sure. I think the Niners are the favorite to come out of the NFC. Would be a rematch of the Super Bowl from a few years ago, from Ray Lewis's last season.
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe the Niners could get some revenge.
Who's the quarterback for the Niners in that season, right?
Oh, Colin Kaepernick.
That's amazing. Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
All
the
right.
power outage Super Bowl. Those of you don't forget in New Orleans, the power went out.
I was in Florida when that happened. I remember that.
Yeah.
So sports have been good. It was actually I was officiating today. Wasn't horrendous, but it wasn't great. Oh no, there was one play. We have to talk about this. There's one play in the Eagles game today.
Yeah.
Where it was just a punt, right?
Oh yes, and the refs
weren't ready. So they blew the whistles. And it's like we're not ready to officiate. And Troy Aikman goes, not ready to officiate.
Yeah, like you have one job. You have one job. That's why I can't wait for the XFL. I need to thank my best friend here for getting me this football New York Guardians. I have.
Yeah, tell them what you're looking at.
I have barely put this down. This is the official game ball of the New York Guardians when they play and they start the season in the middle of February. Of course, I am now officially, guys, a fan of all New York teams. I have aligned myself with the Guardians in the XFL.
I kind of have to too, don't I? There's no other team.
You don't have a Philly team, yeah.
Well, that's the closest team to Philly, right?
Yes. Oh, so you're gonna have to root for a New York team?
I didn't say that. I just said that's the closest team to Philly.
That's very true.
Looking at the ball close up, it is a tiny bit different from an NFL ball.
Yeah, it looks nice. Look at all the little X's kind of like woven in there. It's cool. It is really nice. For those of you who are listening and can't see it, it is a very pretty ball.
Yeah, all those X's on there.
Yeah, it's really, really well done.
Official game ball.
Yes, official game ball.
Inflated
yes. Too. Yeah, no, I think
it's not a deflated ball.
Yeah, no, this is not no deflate gate here on Geeks Who Like Sports. But yeah, and also I got Lee's son and daughter Pokemon Sword. So we exchanged.
It's a video game.
Yeah, for those who don't know, you might not understand what this is on top of Lee's head. It's Pokemon. I'm sure, and Lee, I'm sure will play it a lot as well.
Yes.
And
by
also,
the way, Geek News. I'll talk about The Witcher. We'll talk about The Witcher a little bit more in coming weeks.
Yes.
And some of the other shows that are coming out right now.
Yeah.
I know some of you have watched The Witcher. We've had people ask about that. So I liked it so far. But anyway, we'll come back to that.
Yeah. No, we've got a lot of time to catch up on The Witcher. We got a lot going on. I will probably not watch it till I get back to LA. Just because it's been a whirlwind trip for me here on the East Coast. But I'm very happy to have been able to take the time to come down for a day.
Yeah. To
Philadelphia. From North Jersey.
Such a burden.
It's not an easy drive.
Oh, don't tell me about that drive. I had to do it every day in college. Not every day. But
you lived on campus in college.
I made this drive more than you. That's all I'm going to say.
That's very fair.
Okay?
That's very fair.
I don't fly across the country as much as you, though.
That's also
well. Maybe I did this.
Well, you did.
This year
you didn't go LA. You didn't go LA to Philadelphia to LA, but you did fly a lot this year.
I went to Seattle, back to Philly, and Alaska,
Vancouver, I think. Right?
Yeah, and Vancouver too. Okay.
Yeah. So
enough.
We both of us actually travel quite a bit.
Let's do the same today.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Listen. Jeff Dwyer just said you guys are keeping me entertained while I'm at the gym. Plus, always nice seeing great friends and one that's like a brother. That's very nice of you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Get your lift on, bro. All right. I'm getting there myself.
I need to get to the gym.
I didn't say it. No, you're fine. What are you talking about? I wouldn't want to line up against him. All right, this brings us to the matchup.
Yep.
Okay, and the matchup. I'm messing up my words today. I thought about this matchup today. Star Wars has ended. The franchise is over. They have finished. No more films for the foreseeable future. The franchise has ended. So it made me think, as a mashup, what sports team franchise needs to end? Now, I don't mean like they have to be eradicated from the league. I'm saying like what sport entity just has to go away? It's time to go away. Okay? I think the obvious one right off the bat is the Patriots dynasty.
Yeah,
right? and that's not a disrespect. I'm just ready to move on from this time period.
We want parity back in the NFL. We know the Patriots are going to be there every year. They just clinched their record-breaking 11th straight AFC East title. Meanwhile, if the Eagles win next week, it'll be 15 straight years of not having repeat champions in the NFC East. Like, think about that.
It's crazy. Sorry.
Yeah, think about that. Yeah, no, like I said, we're a little under the weather.
We're making it work.
Yeah, exactly. So think about that. 15 straight years of different NFC champions, NFC East champions every year.
Is that true?
Yes.
Wow.
Since 2005 when the Giants
Eagles
won.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the Eagles, wow. That's crazy.
If the Eagles, it'll be 15 straight years if the Eagles win next week. Yeah. Otherwise, it's still a record 14 years straight.
That's nuts.
2005 to 2018. But no repeat winners in a decade and a half. Whereas the Patriots, this constant. The Jets came close a couple times. The Dolphins came close once.
Not close
but
enough, though.
Right, obviously the Patriots are still dominant force.
We're just ready to move on from that. Obviously, I know
Yes.
New England's not, but we are.
Yes.
Right.
If we were going to eliminate a team from a sport, though, I would say the New York Knicks.
Wow.
Yeah, because they're an embarrassment and they're disgusting. And James Dolan is the worst owner in sports.
I do agree with that.
And so I think at this point, after 45 years of the championship, and with 20 years as the past 20 years they're the losingest franchise in the NBA, they're worthless. And they should be eradicated, and they should be, and everybody should just become a Brooklyn Nets fan.
Right, I'm going to tell you a story about a baseball team that was the losingest team of all time. And then in 2008, they rose up and they won the World Series.
I don't think that's going to happen with the Knicks anytime soon.
It's not, but I just wanted to relive that moment personally
I know.
myself for a moment. It makes me feel better.
It only makes me think of the year after when the Yankees beat the Phillies.
Knicks fans are upset, understandably.
Yeah.
I think in basketball, I was going to say Golden State, but they're kind of taking care of that on their own this year.
Yeah, so many injuries. They are, and this is a rough year for them.
A lot of people would say LeBron James, and I don't agree with that. I think he's a pretty model human being. I don't have a problem with LeBron James. In baseball, I can't say the Yankees. They haven't done anything in decades, so it's like that wouldn't be fair. Yeah. I don't know if there's a baseball team. It's going to be the Yankees now after Cole.
The thing is, yeah, well, hopefully.
Right.
The thing is baseball dynasties really don't happen as often anymore.
One's about to, Ray. One's definitely about to happen.
So. God, I hope so. Please,
you guys look untouchable right now.
Please,
shut up, Ray.
Please.
I'm trying to think of another franchise. So we've done every sport, but what? But hockey, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Well, Jeffrey mentioned Pats, Bruins. Well, he mentions 3 hockey teams: Bruins, Capitals, and Penguins. Capitals. They've only won 1 cup.
Yeah, they won the Capitals. Penguins. It's tough. I don't know.
They're
on their way out already.
Yeah, their window is closing. Same thing. The Blackhawks window has closed. The Kings window has closed.
Yeah.
The Bruins. Yeah, I can't stand Boston. But even them, they lost last. If they had won last year, it might have been a different story.
I'm trying to think.
But
here.
it's been about 10. Hasn't it been like 10 years since they won?
Or Boston, they won in 2011.
Yeah, so it's been almost 10 years. They beat Vancouver that year.
I'm ready for the. I'll say this with respect. I am ready for the Penguins to move on.
Yes,
I'm ready for that franchise to end.
Yes.
Okay, I will say that. Washington, I'm actually enjoying. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't mind Washington.
So Penguins, hockey for me. Penguins.
Yeah.
Baseball.
There isn't.
It's the Yankees. All right, and basketball. Ray wants the Knicks to die.
Yeah, I hate Houston in baseball. I hate the Astros, not just because they beat the Yankees, but because they're cheaters.
Well, there you go. There you go. There you go.
And
then it's got to be Pats in football. Just for not just the winning, but just all
the whole culture. It just
I don't even know if there's another team in the NFL that's.
No, I think they are the most. If you don't live in the Boston area, the New England area, you have. I think everybody universally hates New England.
Give them a satisfying ending. Be with me. Be with me, Johnny Unitas and Peyton Manning come down who's the fool?
Here's the thing. It would be very poetic if Baltimore beat New England in the playoffs this year and then Brady retired because it'd be very much a passing of the torch, I think, to Lamar.
Here's
Jackson.
A question for you.
Yes.
Right? Actually, you bring up a really good point. All right. Does that dynasty end with a Super Bowl loss or a win?
I think they're going to go out with a whimper.
I think fade away.
I think they're going to fade away. I think they don't make the Super Bowl this year. I think they lose in the AFC playoffs. Knock on wood. I really hope that happens.
I don't ever talk about them not winning.
No, look, they are. They are.
They lose. That's kind of my.
Belichick finds a way most of the time. Definitely, there have been times where he hasn't. Peyton beat him once in the playoffs. Obviously, Giants beat him twice. Eagles beat him once.
Yeah, we did.
Jeffrey, we hate them in North Carolina, and most of the New England fans for Bruin. Yeah, everybody hates Boston. Boston's terrible.
Except for Boston.
Except for Boston, except for that area. But I think that I think they're going to lose this year in the AFC playoffs, and I think they're going to lose. And I think
we'll see.
I expect as that team continues to age and kind of fall apart.
They are in a little bit of a downslope.
Yeah, Brady has not been playing his best football. That offense looks really out of sync. They've been riding their defense. And although defense does win championships, and you can't count Tom Brady out,
Yeah.
He's been making a lot more mistakes this year.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
And there are teams, I really legitimately believe there are teams right now in the NFL playoffs that are better than the Patriots.
I think KC is better.
I think Kansas City's better. I think Baltimore is better. I think San Francisco is better.
It's an experience thing for me. That's
very true. That's why they find ways to win.
The talent thing is there are better teams in the past, but their experience is untouchable.
Right.
But that's it's not a wild card, but it's one of those things that plays into it.
Well, and that's why I think Kansas City, after losing to them last year,
they're going to be hungry as hell.
I think Kansas City could very much get amped up to knock off New England, even if it's in New England. So I think that
it needs to end. The dynasty needs to end.
Yeah, so it's going to be very, very interesting. But
we need the rise of Kansas City or whatever team you want to put in that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. Kansas City hasn't won a Super Bowl since Super Bowl IV.
Yeah.
So it's been literally this is the 50th anniversary of their only Super Bowl win. Yeah. So
I wouldn't mind seeing Mahomes win. I
wouldn't mind that either. But yeah, so it's going to be very, very interesting. I think.
Who do you think?
Yes. Comment below. This has been a great matchup. This has actually been one of my favorite matchups. Yeah.
What I do. I come up with the good matchups.
Lee does typically come up with the matchups.
Yeah. With his hat on.
Yes.
I have the power.
It's your thinking cap. It's your Pikachu thinking cap. Yes.
Pikachu. They can't understand me, kid.
Yeah. Oh man. But
hour 5. Not bad.
Not bad for late on a Sunday night.
It's Monday
here
morning.
Now Monday morning here in Philadelphia.
East Coast, Best Coast. That doesn't rhyme.
Nope. Oh gosh. I am exhausted though. I know you are. And we still got a lot to do. So I want to just think we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you, everybody who watched on Facebook Live. Thank you for everybody who's going to listen to this when we put it up on SoundCloud and iTunes and all other fun stuff.
Let us know what you think of Star Wars, please.
Yes, please let us know what you think of Star Wars. Please let us know, what you think of the NFL playoffs. Let us know what you want us to talk about in the coming weeks. Let us know, all that fun stuff. But yeah, for Lee, I'm Ray. This has been episode 37 of Geeks Who Like Sports. And the XFL.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.